not only was Paul George out, I asked the question, are we sure that Kawhi is going to be available? If you recall, Big Perk, that's exactly what I said to you. And if you remember in 2019, Kawhi Leonard played all 24 postseason games for the Toronto Raptors. Since that time, Kawhi Leonard has played 26 total playoff games for the Clippers. I want to say something and put Big Perk on the screen because I want to see him when I say this. I don't know how many people are going to say this, Big Perk, but I'm going to say it. Kawhi Leonard should be on the list of one of the worst superstars this game has ever seen. That's right, I said it. Because anybody that watches basketball knows I'm obviously not talking about his skills. We know the brother is big time. We know that as a talent, he's a superstar. One who shows up when he plays, I'm talking about in terms of his performance, performs in the postseason arguably better than he performs in the regular season. He is that dude. But when you talk about a superstar that is unreliable, I want somebody to point me out somebody more flagrant than him. You know, you're load managing him all through the season. All through the season. He takes every perk imaginable. Yes, we ain't got to even debate all of this. I'm not getting into all of the stuff that he did to get to Los Angeles and what he forced the Clippers to capitulate to in order to acquire him. I'm talking about unreliability. Now, I know Wilbon, my man Wilbon, and I talked about this. We know that the injuries are legitimate. They're not fake. We got that. I would never do that to him or any other player, but especially him. We understand the hard work that he puts in trying to get himself ready or whatever. But when you think about his personality, selling the game, promoting the game, promoting the Clippers franchise, being available. I don't know about you, Big Perk. I'm genuinely sad for Ty Lue. Every time I look at Ty Lue and I see Ty Lue's face and I see him looking sad or just looking melancholy or whatever the appropriate word is, the first thought that comes to my mind is, what the hell is wrong with Kawhi Leonard now? Because there's no way he's looking like that if he knows he can rely on Kawhi Leonard, if Kawhi Leonard is available. And to see him in Los Angeles coaching this Clippers franchise, Lawrence Frank, you see that the organization has become first class. Steve Ballmer is one of my favorite people, favorite owners. It's a damn shame that this man is who they have to rely on because you just can't rely on him. And we know it's because of injuries, but you just can't rely on him. But the other stuff that it takes to magnetize folks to your franchise that you could do personality-wise, et cetera, helping to market the franchise. He does none of that. Mm-hmm. He just shows up to work. He does his job. He goes back to business. When he shows up to work, which, as Molly highlighted at the start of this discussion, isn't often. One of the worst superstars to have that I have ever seen in sports. It truly is to me. Floor is yours.
Well, let me say this. The Phoenix Suns are lucky as hell, all right, because with Kawhi, they were going to lose this series. They're going to win this series, and they're going to go on to play the Denver Nuggets. We'll get into that till a later date. But I want to piggyback off of what you said. When it comes down to people that's like one of the most stressed out people in the world, you know, it's a person that actually have to take care of a person that has dementia or Alzheimer's. I went through it with my grandfather, right?
Okay.
And then you know the next person that's right after that is Ty Lue. It's Ty Lue. That brother is deflated. He's defeated. And it's not just Kawhi Leonard, it's Paul George as well. Because here's the thing, right? It's one thing about the ACL injury, right? And tearing your ACL injury. But a knee strain, that's pain tolerance. When you come down to your ankles, that's pain tolerance. Can you go? Can you go get a shot and get out there on the floor and compete? It's postseason time. Do you actually want to go? Nobody is 100%. This is not something that I'm guessing, Stephen A. This is something that I went through.
Okay.
I went through a whole run of going to the NBA Finals with the Oklahoma City Thunder with my whole groin, my right groin missing. I should have had surgery. But if you want to be out there, that's the thing. And so when I look at this situation, you know why Ty Lue looked defeated? Because it's a damn shame when you get a phone call the morning of the game and say, oh, Kawhi's not playing. Or it's a damn shame knowing that you play on Saturday at 12:30 West Coast time, and it's not going to be that much of a difference.
He might not play that.
He might not play that. So if you Ty Lue, you didn't sign up for this. You haven't had both of your superstars play together for you in the postseason forever. And one could say, due because of injury, they have underachieved as a franchise. So here's my resolution of this. If I'm Steve Ballmer and I'm Lawrence Frank and I'm going into this offseason, how much longer am I going to deal with this whole, whatever you want to call it, with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? Going into every season uncertain.
Yeah.
Uncertain about these guys.
Yeah.
I need some superstars that's going to carry my franchise that's going to be reliable. Reliable.
Well, I distinguish a difference between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And I'm going to tell you why. Couple of reasons. One is what Kawhi got the Clippers to sacrifice in order to get Paul George there with him.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, we saw the injury take place with Paul George. We saw how he came down. We questioned whether or not he was going to be available at all for the rest of the season before he got examined. The difference between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard is that Paul George has had injuries that have been sustained right in front of our face. And either he's ready to come back or he's not. With Kawhi Leonard, you're looking at him and like, he just dropped 38. He's fine. And then after the game, you hear, well, something happened. What do you mean what's happened? We just saw him. He was balling. What are you talking about? And then after that, okay, he shows up the next game and he's in street clothes. But then 2 days later, oh, well, he could go today. And not to mention the fact that you know they let him do whatever he wants to do, whenever he wants to do it. And that's been the case since he's arrived. And so when you look at it from that perspective, if we, with the human eye, can see, wow, that happened to that guy, we hope he's okay. But when he comes back, all we're wondering about is, okay, is Paul George, is he going to get hurt again? But that's it. When we see the injuries take place, we're not questioning it. With Kawhi, you literally walk into every game. Well, is he not going to play tonight? And he's sitting on the bench. He's chilling in his street clothes and all of this other stuff. And he's not playing this night, but 2 nights later he's ready. 2 nights after that he's not ready. This night he's ready. Oh, he might not want to travel on this road trip, but he might want to travel on that road trip. Those kind of things, combined with the absence of a personality to promote and market his team and the sport, considering all he asked for and demands, is what makes it pathetic. He is the worst superstar that you could possibly have, in my opinion, because he's not available at least half the time, and he does absolutely, positively nothing to help market your brand so you can capitalize off of his presence in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That is where I stand with Kawhi Leonard.
And that's exactly why I asked you. And I'm not saying that Paul George injuries wasn't legit or aren't legit. What I'm asking is, if you're Steve Ballmer and Lawrence Frank, how long are you going to continue to put up with this? It's going on 5 years.
Yeah, they can't blame Ty Lue. Ty Lue, we got to understand, Ty Lue has every justification to look utterly depressed. There should be no more depressed coach in the NBA. Nick Nurse, God bless him, just got fired by Toronto. I promise you he's happier than Ty Lue. He's happier than Ty Lue, and he ain't even in the damn playoffs because it's miserable coaching a team and your superstar is somebody you can't rely upon, you can't trust. And I just don't know what else to say. I would never want a superstar like that. And he is a superstar. But I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want him. No. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.